cause lap. Ready?
No.
Yep.
Is it recording?
Expo speech, take one.
Alright, so we've all heard the situation. The guy's jogging with his buddy in the park. He collapses like this. He's got chest pain. He's out. Guy does CPR. What he thinks is CPR. The ambulance comes, goes in. Luckily, he's okay. Anyway, in addition to CPR, early defibrillation with an AED is paramount to resuscitating a victim of sudden cardiac arrest. A lot of examples of this, such as acute myocardial infarctions, otherwise known as heart attacks. The cardiac muscle is starved of oxygen and it can't pump properly. So when we have a heart pumping like this, now all of a sudden it's just kind of sitting there and quivering. The result is a life-threatening arrhythmia called ventricular fibrillation, as is shown on the illustration there. And see, these squiggly lines are a representation of when the heart quivers and moves uncontrollably. Defibrillation is a process of electric shock across the heart area. The idea, contrary to popular belief, is not to jumpstart the heart, but to stop all electrical activity to the heart to give the natural pacemaker the chance to pick up the rhythm again. Defibrillation has been inaccurately portrayed on the television and films, shocking flat lines like you'll see in the monitor. There's a flat line there and they scream, oh, we're losing him, and they shock him and nothing happens, still a flat line. Well, in all actuality, it's this arrhythmia shown here. What the defibrillator tries to do is when the heart's quivering like that, as it shows up in the ECG with all those squiggly lines, it tries to stop all electrical activity in the heart momentarily and give the heart's natural pacemaker called the SA node a chance to pick up again and start over. Unfortunately, if it's in this rhythm and it goes to asystole, which is also known as a flat line, then defibrillation is not an option at that point. It's just CPR and cardiogenic drugs. Another rhythm that is defibrillated like ventricular fibrillation is unstable ventricular tachycardia. This is an arrhythmia in which the ventricles beat much faster and out of sync in relation to the atria. The rhythm alone is not a reason for defibrillation. You can have this rhythm and not be in dire, you're not going to die right then and there, but more commonly than not, we see this rhythm with a lot of unstable blood pressure, running numbers like 80s over 50s and falling, thready pulses, things like that. So alone, it's not reason for defibrillation. But if it's accompanied by any unstable blood pressure, like I said, or a lack of consciousness, then it's treated like ventricular fibrillation and they shock it accordingly. Many workplaces and public facilities have AEDs or automatic external defibrillators like the picture showing. There's a lot of different brands and a lot of different types, but generally they're all the same. They all have a 1, 2, 3 sequence. Basically, one is always you push the button on, you have it on this. They'll tell you to apply the paddles, and they have illustrations on each paddle where they go. And it has real easy, really user-friendly step-by-step instructions to tell you how to do it. If you don't have, for some reason, training on an AED in your workplace, or maybe you have one in the swimming pool area or your apartment, you can get training a lot of different places like Fargo-Moorhead Ambulance. You can go on American Red Cross Association. They usually have listings of where you can get that kind of training. So it's important to familiarize yourself with the correct operation of those AEDs. Many places offer classes, like I said, how to safely and effectively operate them. A lot of times you'll see them in the mall. There'll be a little box, kind of like a fire extinguisher, but it'll have a little, more often that little icon that has a heart with a lightning bolt through to show where those are. So again, a sudden cardiac death in cases of heart attack or drowning or electrical shock, whatever the case may be, it's the earlier you can defibrillate a person, the better off their chances of survival are going to be. Because contrary to what people may or may not know, when people crash in the ER or wherever they are and their heart stops beating, only about 2 to 3% of them actually get revived. So you always hear about all the miracle stories of some person being ill for 5 to 10 minutes and then they bring them back to life. They're a very, very lucky few because most of them don't make it. But the ones that do make it, studies have shown that they've had a lot more of this early defibrillation within the first 1 to 2 minutes. So, very important things to know. Again, definitely learn CPR, learn first aid, go take training on your AED, and yeah, maybe you'll save a life someday. Thanks.
Yay. Oh, question.
There's no questions.
Can you explain what